The only time you'll ever see me pivot fast in my life.
Right? True. Very
That's
true.
that's the big thing for me in that clip, is that I like proved to myself that I could do something like that.
What's going on, everybody? We are here at Tactician's Crown number 4, and I am joined by 3 beasts of the East Coast, Spicy Appies, Pokegom, and Replay. We're gonna be taking a look at a few of their most iconic moments in their TFT career. Let's get started.
Sometimes the transition's supposed to take time. Sometimes it's supposed to happen immediately and have everything happen at once. And as we look at Spicy Appies' board here, it's now on to level 8.
Oh,
and
here we
look
go.
at this shift. This is a big one here, and I love seeing this kind of work from Spicy Appies because I think he is fantastic at making these sorts of calls right away.
Nope.
Oh no!
Right.
Not at all.
It's the why can't I pick this up situation.
Yeah, it's okay. He's dealing with it pretty well. That is a lot of bows. RFC for the Yone. Yeah, it almost has to be. That was a belt. Runans, maybe? The third item for that Yone?
Runans it is. And look at this front line from Spicy Appies as well. Getting this extra unit because you're able to turn these Imperials into a Tactician's Crown. Asa takes a big hit here.
That clip's a cool one because I think I was in the Challenger Series, the first one in set 6, which was like the first tournament that I kind of like did well in, besides like little stuff here and there. The first like the big regional kind of event that I did well in, and that pivot was like, I was just on. Because when Admirable said that like he thinks I'm really good at that kind of stuff, I am not. If you watch me stream or you watch me play at any point now, I'm like, I'm like 80-year-old man APM where I'm like, click, click. So I was just super slow. But that tournament in general, I was just like so hyper focused and like on. You don't see it in the clip, but my favorite part of that roll down is, so at the very last moment there when I put Janna in at the last second, I was like, if you watch the stream, there's like 1.5 seconds on the clock on like the stream timer, and I have Janna in my hand. I'm like hovering over every unit, figuring out which unit to take out for Janna, and then I'm like, and I just take out Blitz last second.
So in TFT, it's really easy to look as a spectator and see the clarity of like, oh no, they just do this and this and this and this. This clip is interesting because there's so much that had to go into the transition that even as a spectator, it's hard to get it. Because, right, it's not just that you're transitioning your board as you're going to level 8. You have Salvage Bin, right? But you also have the Imperial crest as well.
Yeah, so I took Imperial +1 as my second augment, I think. And so what that did for me is I knew I wanted to play challengers. I had a lot of swords and bows, but I had no challenger units, and I had no way to like actually make a strong board on stage 2, but I had Salvage Bin. And so what they let me do is I could just take Imperial Spat, which it comes with a sword because it was bow, so it was Spat sword. And so I played like Imperial Spat Ziggs with like Arcanist for my entire early game and just streaked it out. And then I like sacked a little bit of stage 4. And then because I took the Imperial Spat, I was able to just like sell everything, break it all apart, and like make a fawn. So I basically got a prismatic out of my gold augments.
Crazy.
And then it turned into that challenger board.
The important part of that tournament was that, like you mentioned, this was your breakout event. Up to that point in time, set 5, you really didn't have any. Yeah, no tournament success.
Still bad. But.
Set 6 comes along though, and all of a sudden you're way more vocal, saying like, "Hey, I want to try and be a top player." Challenger Series comes along. Nobody is expecting you to make a splash at the event, and all of a sudden you place second, and it feels like you're kind of thrust into stardom, right? Did you feel that a little bit?
Yeah, it was weird. It was a really weird transition from like relative obscurity to all of a sudden I was like, I was on the Don't Talk You Don't Know ballots, and like I was being talked about, and it was really, I had a lot of like issues at first, just like trying to process that and like deal with it with my play, because I play very different than a lot of players. That time really I just played my own game, and people sometimes be like, what is this guy doing? He's so dumb. Like what is that? What's going on? Hearing that and then being like, well, no, I think I'm a good player. It was good. It was good character growth. The only time you'll ever see me pivot fast in my life.
Right. True. Very
that's
true.
That's the big thing for me in that clip, is that I like proved to myself that I could do something like that.
Well, if that wasn't the moment that I think did thrust you into stardom, the next clip we have is probably the most iconic Spicy Appies clip.
There are very few players in TFT where you can snapshot their board and
so
you have to
times.
ask yourself, like, how on earth? How did they get here? I have no idea how Appies is playing this board. This is wild. And this Gnar with the blue buff, it has Chemtech value with the Chemtech spat. It has Challenger value with the Challenger Unity augment. And it's 3-star, 3 Socialite plus a Bloodthirster. What is this board? No one plays Kaisa. No one plays Tryndamere unless they're re-rolling for him. No one plays Gnar, certainly not as a carry. If you're playing him, it's as a synergy board.
That's very cool.
If he top 4s from this spot, then Appies is the god of TFT.
Is not able to take down this
love how Bryce
Gnar,
sounds
and
there.
the Kaisa doesn't get with the Dumpty Monsoon. Spicy Appies has made it to the top 2 in a blink of an eye. How did he do that?
How did he do that? I don't know. I high rolled. I tell you that much. My secret with that game is that I actually played that game really poorly. My stage 2 and 3, I was basically just holding a bunch of 3 costs and like lose streaking, and I didn't have any money, and it was like a weird spot. It was a very weird spot, but it was because I was just like holding all these things, not playing towards anything in particular. So I was like, man, I'm low rolling Madge. And then I get to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm just going 8th here. It's coming up. And I hit some Gnars and like and some socialite stuff. And I'm like, okay, actually, I can maybe cook a bit here. A lot of like what I like in TFT is like, you know, finding like the best reason to do something. So I had a point where I had like Irelia 2 in shop. I was like level 7. I could just level up play Irelia 2 over to the Gnar with the Blue Buff and the BT and the Chemtech spat. But instead, I said, I need more base AD. That's what I said to myself. So I rolled for Gnar 3.
You give stage 3 of this game to 99% of TFT players, and they're going bot 4.
I think the idea of like win condition is really important. I think what you said is that like this board and how I play TFT and especially how I played in set 6, and because it was like the perfect set for it was just I played by win conditions, right? Where I was like, okay, I want to win a fight this way, and so I'm going to build a board this way. I mean, all it is like hyper carry with support units. There's like little things that help a lot, like Rikaisa with Morellos just keeps everything low, so Gnar can finish off backline. Seraphine hits backline as well as giving Gnar low attack speed. The 3 socialite makes sure that Gnar can just stay in the game. And then like Cybernetic uplink just kind of melds everything together. And then Enchanter just like, you know, lets him be more tanky. It's like the same level of synergetic, even though it's a lot of weird moving pieces.
I think this clip in particular was something that really helped people understand who you were as a player. I don't think that people really recognize that you were the player who wants to cook until this moment happened. Did you feel that?
Yeah, for sure. I because I had not talked to Mort too much before this. Mort was on the cast for Innovation Cup. And it was also called Innovation Cup. So he was like, holy crap, this guy's like the innovator of Innovation Cup. And like it was so cool to because I did end up winning the tourney as well. And this was like the star game of the tournament. And it was really cool because you know, seeing Mort like be very supportive on Twitter and stuff of like this guy's Innovator Supreme, and I was like, I guess so. That's awesome.
I did also want to say, shout out to Bryce for the cast on this,
yes,
because it's so funny hearing him go through everything as he's processing it in real time, and he's saying value from this, value from this, value from this, and he's going down the line, and it's like it's starting to all click in his head, and it feels like by the end of it, he's still not quite getting how this board really works. But shout out to Bryce for trying to make it happen.
The cast is just amazing at the end of this game.
Yeah.
I feel like whenever I remember feeling down or like down about the game, or like I feel like I'm having a tough time, I like go back and listen to the cast because they're just so nice about it, and like they're so hype over it, and like this it pumps me up. It makes me feel like I want to get back there, you know. So
all right, well, that's gonna do it for Spicy Appies. Any last words before we wrap it up?
Shout out to the Aegis TFT League stuff. That it's a grassroots tournament you can enter. I entered that right before Challenger Series actually, and it was kind of the reason why I had so much confidence going into that, and I think it kickstarted my whole TFT career really. So huge shout out to them. Enter some grassroots stuff. It'll be good. It'll be fun. Play some TFT.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time as we put out more TC content in the future.